Hi everybody and welcome back to Sit and Knit for a Bit with Arne and Carlos.
And we're your hosts, Arne and Carlos. Now after 3 weeks of doing things we don't know how to do and filming each other, we realized that we should change it up a little bit and make it exciting and fun and unpredictable for you guys. So today we are doing a regular Sit and Knit for a Bit podcast. It's actually going to be the last podcast of 2020. We still have 5 more episodes of the Christmas countdown to go every day until December 24th, or actually December 24th is going to be the last day. We reveal a new Christmas ball and tell you a little story, a 5-minute story about our Christmas traditions. Today we're going to do a 30-minute podcast, and it's going to be a kind of like a looking back at 2020, which has been a crazy year by any standard. So,
but first we have to light the candles because it's the 4th of Advent.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
today is Sunday, the 4th Sunday of Advent. So we light one candle for joy.
Joy? Was it the first
one? One candle for hope.
And hope and longing.
One candle for longing.
And the last one is for peace.
And the final candle of today is for peace.
I think it's in that order.
Yes.
If not, it's no problem.
It's
because
probably
they're all lit now.
It's probably in that order, but yeah, they're all lit. And yeah, let's enjoy the show.
Yeah. So Carlos, what happened?
Previously in our lives.
What happened last week?
Yes, previously in our lives, we've been doing our quarantine. Sorry, not our quarantine. We've been doing our Christmas countdown every day in December, and in between recording that, we have been doing a lot of Christmas activities, like baking cookies. And another thing that we've been doing is taking long walks out in the snow. And actually, we popped on our skis for the very first time a couple of days ago. Yeah. And it is looking like we are going to have a very white Christmas.
Because this week has been crazy. We have had like snow and rain and grey and weather, and then it's been sunny, and it's like, and now this morning when we walked the dogs, we passed by the garden, and then we saw one of the big trees was actually broken. The top was broken. Yeah. And that's a bit sad because we planted those trees like 20 years ago.
Yeah, it broke my heart. Yeah. It broke my heart.
But the snow is so heavy because it's so wet, and then in the evening it freezes. So a lot of trees are hanging like this. So
and we have a second tree that is also in danger right now.
But so, that's nature.
It's nature, but it is heartbreaking. Yeah.
But the good thing is that when the top breaks, you can always use the saw and make it nicer, and then you put on paint.
Yeah.
And you know, in the next year it will have more top. Yeah. It will come out like fuller.
Yeah, it's important to find a silver lining for everything, especially
There's always a silver lining,
especially in a year like this. And and the trees. I mean, they've been here for a long time, and hopefully they will survive anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is heartbreaking that the trees are being weighed down by the snow.
Have you been in the cake box again?
No.
I think you have this. You're doing this.
Yeah.
Someone has been eating cakes because we've been baking this week.
We've been baking like crazy.
So many cakes.
And I may have accidentally had a little piece of cookie stuck into my throat. I see
there's like a mouse been there.
Yeah, the Cookie Monster has been
there. The Cookie Monster has been there. Because these are good. I've never done this before. Actually, you made the dough and I did the
make them. Yeah.
In the machine.
Yeah, it's like a machine. You pop it in the machine, and you let it stay, and then you open the lid, and then you have to. But the trick is you have to roll them, and they have to look like cones. And these are called krumkaker in Norwegian, although in Arne's dialect you call it skrull.
And in this area where we live, they call it strull or stryll.
Yeah.
So there's different names in different areas.
But the traditional Norwegian name, like the all-round name, is krumkaker. These are actually supposed to be filled with cream and cloudberries. We did a video on the cream and the cloudberries in 2012, and it's absolutely delicious. But I have to say that these are good by themselves, and the difference between a homemade krumkake and one that you buy in the supermarket industrial is indescribable. And it goes for the gingerbread as well. You're turning out to be quite the baker.
I'm a baker. I should open a bakery. Maybe that's my next career. But these are a little bit thick, so I have to work on them. And then we bought this wooden thing that you roll them around, and that was like with the metal thing. And I didn't like it because it was really difficult. So
Yeah.
maybe in the spring I will take my machine out, because I have this machine. What's that called in English? You know, where you put wood and
yeah.
and then you put the wood on the irons on the wood, and it goes around. Wood carving in a way. Not carving. It's like we call in Norwegian. It's called a dreie.
Yeah. You're asking me a very difficult question.
But I just remembered I had that machine, and I could actually make the wooden piece myself.
Yeah. Or you could buy one in the supermarket. They're readily available. Maybe not this time of the year they sell out, but
it's nice to make one. I can make you make one.
Well, we'll
you
see.
never touched that machine before.
No, I don't. I'm not very good with tools, am I? Although I did.
Think you are.
Although
you did a beautiful star.
Yeah, I did manage to make the star, and then I remember, I as I mentioned last Sunday, I got orders, and and I still haven't made it for her. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but the planks are still in the car.
And we saw Kate in the last homely house. She was inspired. She also made a star, and I have to say she had that drill that looked more easy when you changed the thing. She just smucked like, and there it was.
Yeah.
We had to hold and give gas.
Exactly.
So,
that's what I keep saying all the time. It had nothing to do with me. It was the drill.
It was the drill. So that happened this week, and then I know that you was very annoyed at me because a lot of these days, many of these days, you have had that noise.
Well, I haven't been annoyed at you, but that noise I keep hearing is driving me crazy. Because
I have to say it's a little bit annoying myself, because I heard it like for 12 hours.
Yeah,
or
so
more.
the noise I keep hearing, even when I'm downstairs and Arne is up here, I keep hearing that, and it is very annoying. Now, can you guess what that noise is? I mean, if I do this again,
Or it's more like click, click, click.
wow, it sounds really annoying. But do you think you can guess?
It's a hard competition.
I think people have guessed right.
Yeah.
The knitting mill that Prim gave us is something that Arne has been playing
Or the
with.
knitting machine.
It's called the knitting mill.
Knitting mill, okay. This one.
Yeah, but without the yarn, it doesn't make any noise. I wish it
you have to
would
put
sound
the
like
yarn.
that.
But I've been cleaning because I have a lot of small balls of yarn, and suddenly I found out that you can actually make I-cord, and you can knit with this.
Yeah, that's a
And
great idea.
Look at the ball is beautiful. You can have it on display, because I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, and I think that it looks like a ball of yarn, and why not take like bigger needles and knit a scarf out of all this
Yeah, I could
I-cord?
do a big chunky.
Could be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am annoyed. Do you have any oil that you could put on that thing so that
I can lock the door.
yeah, like sewing machine oil maybe would help?
Maybe I could try, but I don't know where it's coming from, because it's quiet now.
Yeah, but as soon as it has the yarn in, it's not. So yeah,
it's so fun. I have to say, this is so fun, and this looks much nicer than having all the small balls of yarn in a basket. Because I'm never using it. I think I will use it, but I don't know. This yarn has been around for many years now. But look, it's beautiful.
It is.
So
yeah.
that's what I've been doing, and then I know I should be down there and help you with your folk, or with the folk costumes, because you were left alone with the trousers.
Well, that was okay, but when I came to the vest and having to sew the buttonholes by hand, I just had to give up. I don't know how many videos I saw. I must have seen like 3 or 4 videos, and then I did it, and I just personally I felt like I couldn't get it. I wanted that kind of perfect row,
and that's the problem.
And that's the problem. Yeah, I'm trying to be an overachiever and trying to make
because I've been looking at pictures.
Perfect.
I've been googling the folk costume, and I've been looking at pictures of people wearing their vests, or what you call that in English again? Waistcoats, and you know, I take a screenshot. I learned that from the young kids, and then I can zoom, and I see a lot of strange buttonholes.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should be so hard on ourselves.
No, we shouldn't.
Because in the end, you just see this much.
Yeah.
You see nothing of the buttonhole when it's finished. But then I tried to put it in the sewing machine and make it with the sewing machine, and that it didn't work that well. So we decided to make them by hand.
Yeah, anyway, I got a little bit depressed because I was very unsuccessful at making the buttonholes for the vest. Arne has made mine, so thank you very much, Arne.
You're welcome.
And to feel a little bit more confident, I went back to doing garter bands. So I have been weaving this beautiful, let me see if I can get this up for you guys. I've been weaving this.
I think this is beautiful.
This very beautiful garter band in, let me just move that so that you can see it.
You see, Carlos, you have a new hobby now.
Yes, I do. Yeah, and this is being done in green, white, red, and black. And the reason I'm doing a garter band in this color is for our tartan vests that we're going to be sewing next year. And I think that the tartan vests deserve the traditional garter band colors, which are matching the vest.
I think maybe this is something we should do during Christmas. You are doing your garters and I'm doing my I-cord.
Yeah,
that's a nice thing to do in Christmas.
Yeah, so I'm gonna weave 4 identical garter bands, two for Arne, and 2 for me. And for those of you wondering whether our folk costumes are ready or not, I can tell you that they're not ready. We are still. We still haven't started on the jacket. The jacket is probably what is going to take the longest.
I don't think we will do that for Christmas. No, it's
not that it's a difficult jacket to make. I mean, you've got front panels, a back panel, and a couple of sleeves. That's easy.
And the lining.
And the lining's easy. But then you have an intermediate or an inner lining, and that inner lining has to be sewn by hand. And it has to be sewn with stitches going down like this, or
it doesn't have to be done by hand. It cannot. They told us they could also do it on the machine, but that was kind of hard to understand.
Hard, yeah.
So I think we should do it by hand.
I think that I would not feel very confident if I did it in the machine.
I think it's a nice thing to do when you learn it. So.
And it's called in Norwegian. It's called piquering, and it comes from French piquet, I suppose, which is like you do these tiny little stitches. In Norwegian, in our Norwegian language, all the sewing terms are in French. So
most of them, I think.
So we usually know all of them. We've got the pois, the toile, the passepoil.
No, the toile is from Esmod, from my education.
But they say toile in Norwegian.
Ah, maybe I do.
Yeah. Anyway, a lot of the sewing words that we use in our language are in French, not in English. So anyway, you've got to stitch that lining with tiny little stitches all the way. And as you do that, you're also shaping the garment, and you have to. The sleeves will have to be sewn in temporarily, just hand stitched temporarily, and then it's all about moving the sleeves and getting the.
And it's also the front.
Yeah, the front to kind of shape it, and that is probably.
It's like under. It's from the on the top of the jacket, like under the fabric, so it's going to make a nice shape.
Nice shape, yeah.
On your shoulders,
and
I think.
And that is going to take a while. That is a tedious,
a lot of work.
Tedious job with a lot of fittings and a lot of moving the sleeve back and kind of back and forward and shaping everything. So we're not going to do that. Luckily, the jacket is too hot to wear indoors.
So we don't even use it anyway.
So we've got our folk costume covered for Christmas Eve. It's pretty much done now. The last things we did on the vest was all the sewing all the buttons and the buttonholes. So 6 buttons and 6 buttonholes for each vest. I didn't do my buttonholes. Arne thanked me. Or sorry, Arne helped me. Thank you, Arne.
You're welcome.
And then the trousers were also interesting. I've got my trousers here. They're done. Last time we showed anything from the folk costume, we actually showed you the pockets. Yeah, and again, we use the term passepoilet or passepoilert lomme, which means a passepoilet pocket, and it's the French word for a double welt.
And we said that in the video because we thought that was international, but it wasn't English.
No, and the English word for this pocket here, that I'm going to show you by just closing up. So this pocket here is a double welt pocket, I think it was.
Double welt.
Double welted pocket. And yeah, the trouser is, as we've discussed before, it goes over the knee. And then there are buckles. Let me show you the buckles.
And it's very high-waisted.
It's very high-waisted. And then it's got buckles here at the bottom of the trouser, so that you adjust them and you tighten the buckles just below the knee. And then there's 21. I mean, there's 21 buttons. So that took a while to sew.
Took a while.
Yeah.
And you do it properly, so
Yeah, so we've got 3 buttons down each side.
Like this on the side.
Yeah, then we've got 1, 2, 3,
6 on each
4,
side.
5, 6 buttons
3 on each
here.
side.
There's a button at the top, and then there's a button for the knife here at the back. And all these are in pewter. And then we've got the rest of the buttons in horn. We've got 6 buttons in horn for suspenders.
And one for the...
And one for the interior
waistband.
here. So pretty much if I open it up to show you guys what this trouser looks like, I have to say it is an interesting design with a lot of fabric.
I felt so strange when I put on mine. I have to get used to it.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit different to...
It is.
To have all that fabric up around your waist, and then you have that thing around your... under your knees, and I felt a little bit strange the first time,
but you get used to it.
You get used to it, I guess.
But there's really a lot of fabric here, and I like skinny jeans. So for me it was, you know, I told Arne, I don't want this much fabric, so we started removing.
Actually we did, and then like there's a lot of extra fabric, because if you gain weight you can take it out.
Yeah, well that was extra on top of
that was extra on top of what we wanted to get rid of, so
pretty much this
we cut away a lot.
This is what the trouser looks like. It's it opens up here like this, right? And then this goes, and this is pretty much over your belly. So this is like a belly belt of some sort, like a corset.
Livré.
Yeah. So this goes.
What's that in English?
Livery.
Livery.
So this goes up here, pretty much there, and then this goes up like this, and then it's fastened. Yeah, it was an interesting trouser to sew. The hardest job was actually sewing all the buttons, I have to say.
That took time.
That took a lot of time, but the trouser in itself was quite simple.
Yeah.
And
but then the fitting took a while, because we are very picky. So like sometimes you sew it in a little bit, or you changed it a little bit, and you take it on, and then you think it's perfect, and then the next day you put it on again, and then there's always things you're not happy with.
I think that the worst thing with the trouser was all that volume. So we kept going in on the inseam, on the inside of the leg, and we kept sewing that in and in and in until we were kind of happy with it. And then we had to call Maria to check that whether it was allowed or not. And she said that it's fine.
You like skinny jeans, so it's fine. You can always take it in a little.
There's a lot of volume.
So that's what we've been doing. What more have we done this week?
Well,
we got the Christmas record.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Our Christmas record. We were so happy we got this in the mail. Dolly Parton, a Holy Dolly Christmas. And you know the cool thing?
I know.
That is when you take out the vinyl.
It's red.
It's red. Isn't that beautiful?
It's very nice.
Oh, you know we have a yellow one downstairs.
From Dolly
Parton.
Oh.
A yellow...
She's a colorful lady. She loves her color.
Yeah,
so.
I like when the vinyl has other colors than black.
And have you heard that there's a movie as well?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
She's done a Christmas movie that we haven't watched yet. I don't want to watch it. I want to watch it closer to Christmas because I want to get in the Christmas spirit.
I think it's called Christmas on the... I think the song is there. Is it Christmas on the Square or on the street? Or
I don't know, but there's a movie anyway that we've got to watch.
So we have a lot of things to do this Christmas. Your garters, my I-cord.
Yeah, I'll be doing garter bands for the vest that we're getting next year.
Christmas on the Square. I think that's beautiful.
Well, we're gonna have to look that up. That movie.
Yeah, we should show our Dolly Parton collection one day.
Oh yeah, that'll be more than 30 minutes.
That will be more than 30 minutes.
So Arne, this year, so that's what has happened around here, and then of course we're doing the sit and knit for a bit Christmas countdown. We do those downstairs in our downstairs sitting room, and we thought for a change we'd sit up here in our upstairs sitting room because of we want to keep things moving and different. And there's been a fun question that I read in the comments of our Christmas countdown. People ask us why we're wearing the same sweaters throughout.
That's because we just That's our Christmas outfit.
That's the Christmas uniform 2020.
The uniform. So that's why we just put it on for the film, and then we don't wear it the whole day. We just put it on for the film.
Well, yeah, it's
and
like
then
a...
we like to change also.
Yeah, but it's like a little uniform when we kind of envision. So first and foremost, it's very important to mention that we've done the whole Christmas podcast, Christmas Countdown, Dogme style. Eric has not been here. So Arne and I have planned the entire frame, the whole decor, where to put the tree, you know, what tablecloth to use, what colors we wanted in for the whole podcast. And we realized that those two sweaters fit perfectly with the interior set design. And so we decided that this year, because we're going to, you know, we have the important task of spreading joy and the Christmas spirit all over the world, we figure we could be little Christmas elves from Norway. And as far as I know, elves always wear uniform, don't they? When they're working.
I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's a working uniform, and it goes well with the interior.
So what is the Cookie Monster wearing?
Well, depends when the Cookie Monster is actually stealing the cookies. Yeah, and we may actually be moving into a cookie gate now.
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
Because you're the Cookie Monster.
I like cookies also.
Yeah.
And there's so many nice cookies you can make.
Yeah.
There's more we can
Well,
try.
Cookie Gate is more who stole the cookies. That's Cookie Gate. Because we got a couple of Cookie Monsters here, and we're not talking about Helmer or Freya. That's for sure.
But I found a really nice... I found a book in the storage in the other house when I was looking for stuff, and it's about baking. And since I'm so inspired right now, I know I'm like so good at baking. I found this recipe. It's called... It was a French word. Petit four.
Yeah, petit four.
Petit four? Petit four.
Yes.
It looks so nice, and I think that's like a normal dough kind of thing, like for the cakes with cream, and you just make small pieces and then you put on decorations.
Yeah,
that's what I will do.
I think we're going to be doing more of those episodes next year because they were a lot of fun.
We can do the petit food.
And if we wouldn't have done the episode with Arne, we wouldn't making the gingerbread, we wouldn't have discovered what a talented baker he is, and now he is responsible for cookies, and I'm half responsible for eating them.
But you know already I'm good at the rosettes.
Yeah, we knew that from before.
That I can do.
But now we know that you can do krumkake and you can do pepperkake.
I can do.
And you know, we still got a few days more.
Just give me a recipe and I do it.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to be doing because we've got a few more days until Christmas. We need our 7 cookies in the box, and because the Cookie Monster keeps eating them, we need to replenish our boxes with more cookies because we're actually taking them over to Gry and Toralf where we're going to be celebrating our
And then
Christmas.
when you are so handy with those machines and all the wood things,
yeah, right.
I think you will do the thing for the cake. I can roll the cake around.
I've done my Christmas star. I'm going to do my order. I haven't gotten around to it yet because I keep finding excuses.
Well, we have the wood. It's just to put out the machine again.
The sticks are in the car. And I'm going to make it before we see your sister, which is going to be in 2 days. I promise I'm going to make it. But anyway, there's Cookie Gate now. Who stole the cookies? And Porridge Gate, we can report at the end of 2020 because Porridge Gate has been an ongoing thing here since March. We can now report, Arne, that...
I'm not having the cold porridge again.
And therefore,
ever again.
And therefore, I have now removed it from the repertoire. We are not having cold porridge.
That's good. You actually have a repertoire. We talked about that last night. Because you have a repertoire.
Of course.
Remember? Because I suddenly remember sometimes when, like in the old days, we had this chicken that was wrapped in bacon and then cheese inside.
We don't do that anymore.
So good. And we don't do that anymore.
No.
We haven't had that for many, many years. Because you're always changing the menu.
Yeah. And you know, times are changing, right? So we're eating more and more vegetarian and plant-based. We do eat meat. Absolutely. We eat meat, we eat chicken, we eat fish. But we are reducing the number of times a week that we eat meat. And we are actually replacing that with with plant-based food. I think that a lot of people are doing that now. So yeah, the repertoire changes. But yeah, the cold porridge is out of the repertoire. I mean, even the little julenisser, the little Christmas elves, refuse
to eat the cold one.
my cold porridge. So I've kind of come to understand how bad it is. But hot porridge, we're still going to be having.
Yeah, that's good. And now we're going to have the Christmas porridge.
Yes.
And that is good.
Yeah, the delicious Christmas porridge,
With
which is
cinnamon, sugar.
yes,
butter.
cinnamon, sugar, butter, and it's a barley porridge.
That's so good.
And we did a video on that in 2017, I
That's
think.
when you were making that.
Yeah, I made that
I was
video.
watching you. I'm not good at
So
porridge.
Christmas porridge is going to be had for lunch.
So, Carlos, what was the highlight this year? Since we're like, this is the last sit and knit on the Sunday this year. What was your highlight from the year?
Well, I can tell you what was the big bummer this year.
The big bummer.
COVID.
That was a
That was like the low light.
bummer because we haven't been in the airport since March.
No.
We came from Bergen from the last knitting cruise we did with the coastal boat.
Yeah.
And since then we haven't been in the airport, and that is very strange because like normally we're like we're there every month at least because we're always traveling.
Yes.
And you know, Carlos, what's really dangerous with this is that it's so comfortable being in your own house.
Yes, it is.
I can easily get used to this.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't want to travel anymore.
So is that your highlight?
Well,
is that your highlight? Getting to stay home for the...
yeah, that's one of the highlights. But I was asking, what's the other highlight?
So anyway, low light, a big low light was COVID. Highlight this year, I have to say, if I think about the entire year, and if I focus on the positivity,
and you should always
focus on the positivity. I have to say there were many highlights this year, many.
Yeah.
I want to start with a highlight that came before COVID, and that was our fantastic trip to South Africa. We went
so beautiful.
We went to South Africa in the beginning of February before COVID had arrived in Europe.
Yeah, we were actually planning a knitting trip to South Africa, and we had all these beautiful things set up. There was like this wine train you could take from one farm to the other.
Oh, in Franschhoek?
In Franschhoek there was these mills with what the animal?
The mohair?
The mohair, and we also the safaris.
The safari, Cape Town was amazing.
Everything was amazing. Like
food
South
was spectacular.
Africa was so amazing,
Yeah.
and then we had to cancel it. But we're gonna work on it. We're gonna do knitting trips. I can travel for knitting trips.
Yeah. It was a true highlight of this year going to South Africa, and I keep thinking about it. Wow, imagine, Arne, we actually managed to do a trip
and it feels,
before COVID.
Yeah, but it feels like it's long time. It feels like a long time ago.
Yeah,
it's so strange. It was in January.
No, February. End of January. And the world was a different place when that happened. There was no plexiglass in front of you wherever you go, and people weren't wearing masks, and everything was kind of, what it was before.
It was really nice. A nice trip.
A wonderful trip, and as Arne said, we will definitely plan for a trip to South Africa, a knitting trip, when it's safe to travel again.
And then we will also do more of the knitting cruises with the coastal boat, because the last one, that was the beginning of something really bad.
Yeah, the last time, I'm crossing my arms now.
It was nice when we were on the boat, but the trip up was okay, on the trip down was fine until like halfway, then we got the news. They were closing all the harbors, so the ship couldn't stop, like it was happening just behind us.
It was very dramatic.
That was dramatic.
It was incredible that we actually managed to do the whole knitting cruise. Actually, it was 2 cruises, a cruise northbound and a cruise southbound.
Yeah.
And it started out very normal. The COVID was not an issue when we got on the boat. But yeah, after a few days on the southbound, it really got more and more dramatic. And people were panicking. We were panicking. I mean, I think my biggest nightmare was because at that particular time, Norway closed down on March 12th, and we got off the boat on March 14th. And I think our biggest nightmare scenario was, what if they quarantine us on the boat for 10 or 15 days?
That could have happened, That was actually very scary in a way, because we had a lot of books, we had a lot of knitting.
But
so
still...
we were like... but still,
Imagine
it's
what
like,
a nightmare scenario.
that could be so hard. And then when we arrived in Bergen, they let us out of the boat, so we were so happy. And then they took our temperature,
And we were fine.
and we were fine. And you know what, Carlos? What I think about is that when we were in South Africa in February, already then they took our temperature. Remember?
Yeah,
When we arrived in South
remember.
Africa, we had to blow that thing, and I think it was?
No, just
no, they took
forehead.
something in our forehead, so they already then checked our temperature. But this was the first time in Norway. That was in end of March.
March 14th.
So it's like a month later, not so long. But still, it was.
Yeah, and then remember coming home and bringing that souvenir with us, COVID-19.
Yeah. And I thought I had a bad cold or something because I was coughing a lot. I was working outside. I was digging snow from the terrace because Easter was coming, so I wanted to have a clean terrace. And you said you said to me you shouldn't work too hard because you probably have a cold now. So
you're already coughing.
Your coughing will be worse.
Yeah.
And
then boom, COVID came to our home. And I mean, we've been talking to the doctors here, and more than likely, I mean, they're quite sure that actually Arne got it first, and he infected me, and then I got it. We also know from our knitting cruise, from our fellow companions on the cruise, that there were at least 6 of them who were ill when they got home.
Yeah.
So, but at that time they couldn't get tested because they weren't sick enough. I got sick enough that we both got tested, and I tested positive. So there is no doubt in my mind that we got it on the cruise. For a long time we were in denial about that, but there's no doubt. And yeah, I'm not going to go into details over how bad I was, but I was extremely sick. It was critical at a point. And yeah, that is all past me. Unfortunately, the long-term effects are still with me. And that's a little bit of a problem still. Lung capacity is not, what it used to be. And I think the worst thing for me is my memory and balance issues. I have a lot of problems with my balance, but the worst is really my memory. It just doesn't get better. I feel like I become stupid after COVID.
But sometimes you can say things, and then it's like 15 minutes later you say the same thing over again. And I think I'm so used to it, so I don't have to say, Carlos, you just said it. Or because you do it all the time now. And
I tend to repeat myself very often.
It doesn't help if I tell you. You told
No, because then I get angry.
Then you get angry.
But I tend to repeat myself because I forget what I say, so I keep saying things over and over again. If you're one of the people that were annoyed about that in 2020, please forgive me. I haven't been myself. I also have lost a lot of words. Like that thing that Arne was talking about. I know what it is, but I don't remember the word. I had problems with the pine cones. In Norwegian. I was asking you.
Well, what's the name of?
So there's a lot of words that I've lost in my vocabulary. Things that I forget. Like yesterday, we were having a nice little. We had an intention of having raw salmon, and I thought I had all the ingredients for my dish, but I forgot the spring onion and I forgot the soy sauce. Even if I checked 3 times before we went to the supermarket, because I remember that. I remember checking 3 times what we needed, and I remember that we needed soy sauce, and then we came home without it. So that happens a lot.
But then another thing, like a positive thing, is that when when it was decided that we should be, or actually we decided first to be in lockdown, and then we got sick, so we had to be in lockdown. And then when all the traveling stopped, I was a little bit afraid, because you are always the one who want to travel, and I was a little bit afraid what will happen now, because maybe you will be very stressed or something, because you were always, I'm looking forward for the next trip, you were planning the trips and stuff, and suddenly we haven't been anywhere, and I'm really surprised. I have to say that makes me actually very happy, because you have been so. Because you call it relaxed and confident.
Yes.
By being at home.
I've been feeling. That's the thing.
That is so strange, because
You're right.
Never
I
think
have
that
been.
Would happen.
I am in a completely different place today compared to what I was before COVID. I feel calm. I feel relaxed. I feel happy. And I kind of enjoy what we've been doing this year a lot.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed increasing our content on YouTube. I have enjoyed sharing a little bit more of who I am with the people. I think that out of the two of us, I'm more shy and actually way more reserved. And I haven't always been positive about, I haven't been positive about how much I wanted to share with people. But this year, considering what happened to me, I kind of came to the conclusion that, you know what, I can live with this. I can live with this. This is fine. And I think that the moment I had that revelation that I can live with this, and that I actually enjoy doing this, I think that things got a lot better for me. And I am in a really good place right now, even if I have the long-term effects of COVID that I am suffering from. I think that the way our channel has developed this year has been incredible. Don't you agree?
Yeah, we have a lot of new viewers or subscribers.
Yes.
And yeah, it's been nice. And also, since we didn't travel abroad, we've seen a lot of Norway, which has been very nice, because we did that road trip to Lofoten with the people. So we made a lot of YouTube episodes up in Lofoten, and that was really, really nice. And then we also had 2 other trips with the Beatles.
Yes.
And like in August, you said you didn't want to drive any more Beetle this summer because we've been in the car for so many days.
And it's not the most comfortable of cars. So for my 50th birthday, we went to this stunning hotel out in one of the beautiful fjords in the west coast of Norway, and we drove our regular car because I was so fed up with sitting uncomfortably in the Beetle, just listening to that engine all the time. But yeah, we've seen a lot of Norway, and luckily in the summer, the COVID situation was quite under control here. So it was safe for us to travel around in Norway, which was wonderful. And it's always nice seeing our country. And I think that a big highlight as well was our stay in Lofoten.
Yeah, that was really
the drive up to Lofoten is phenomenal, spectacular. And then just spending days there. I mean, and actually the most beautiful days in the summer, weather-wise, in Lofoten.
Yeah, we were lucky because the bad weather started when we left.
Yeah.
So we were on the boat from Lofoten down into, I don't remember the name, north of Bodø somewhere, was it?
Skutvik.
Skutvik, and the black clouds came and the rain started, and then we had, I think it was raining. It wasn't raining until we came close to Trondheim.
Yeah.
Then it was raining like crazy when we passed by Trondheim, and then a little bit south of Trondheim. Then it stopped again. But then we heard people were going to Lofoten, and everybody complained about the weather because it was so bad.
Yeah. But we had all the amazing weather, and I mean, at one point in Svolvær, it was over 30 degrees Celsius, which is a lot.
And I was a little bit worried because, like, when we drive the Beetle, you know those vindusviskere.
Yeah, again, another word I don't remember. The ones that keep the rain
in front of the window, vindusviskere,
window shields?
Windows,
maybe.
You know, on the Beetle they're so tiny.
I think they're window shields.
And if there's like 2 speeds on them, one slow and one. And if you drive in the rain, and if it's heavy rain, and those goes like this in front of you, it's almost like you faint because you get so strange in your head looking at this in front of you because you're also close to the window. Yeah. So I was happy we didn't have a lot of rain on the way back.
Anyway, luckily we didn't have to think too much about bad weather in Lofoten. It was spectacular. I think that's one of my other highlights this year. It was the day we rode Icelandic horses on the beach. Cool. Yeah. And then after that we had a bottle of champagne. And enjoyed the midnight.
But that was so fun because I haven't been on a horse for years.
Me neither.
And then you go on an Icelandic horse, and when the horse starts to do that tilt, that special way of walking or running, you feel like you're all shaken because when you're not used to it, it's like you were sitting like this. But it was so funny. But I don't think we looked so professional on the horse.
Well, who cares? We were having fun. And I really love the not the sunset, but the just having a glass of champagne and
watch the midnight.
Watching this midnight sun kind of go down and then up again, because we don't technically have the midnight sun where we live. We do have eternal daylight. Actually, we have a couple of hours of twilight when the sun has set and then rises, because it's like 2 hours. So technically, we don't have the midnight sun. So I've never seen the sun kind of go down and go up again until now. This is the first time. No, actually the second time. I saw it when we were in Tromsø.
Yeah, you saw it in Tromsø.
In 2008. And it's just remarkable. And how quickly it goes. You know, the sun is kind of lingering just over the horizon and it looks like it's going to set. And then it takes about 10 minutes and you can see already the sun rising without ever going behind.
But in Lofoten it was very special because the place we went to, it was like we had the ocean. So there was no mountains where the sun could disappear behind.
Yeah,
so
it's
it was
fantastic.
really nice. So that's one of the highlights.
Yeah.
And then I also have to say, I think the last videos we did where we film each other, I think that's so fun to
so
make.
much fun.
I really like to do that because it's kind of, I like that dogma thing, and I like it when things doesn't go correctly.
Well, we had we had a lovely time together, even though you were very stressed when you were stirring the dough, and I think I was a little bit cold and a little bit, I don't know, feeling insecure with that drill in my hand, but I still think it was fun.
I think it's fun.
And it's a quality time together. We're doing something together.
And it's fun. It's really, really fun.
Yeah. So yes,
I like that.
So there's been a lot of highlights this year, and as I was saying in the beginning of this conversation, also the fact that our channel has been growing so fast because we've been putting more content in it. We started with the quarantine knit-along in March and April, which we continued a little bit into May. Then we took a break, and then we came back in the summer with a road trip that we did in Lofoten, which was extra episodes every week. And now we're doing the Christmas countdown daily in December, plus that we introduced Sit and Knit for a Bit on Wednesdays. So a lot of more content. And it also looks to me, Arne, as we are shifting a little bit also. We are developing our channel, and we're maybe moving from that original concept that we do tutorials, only tutorials, and that we do more, other kinds of things, like doing the podcast where we talk to people, doing the whole we don't know what we're doing thing.
But there's more tutorials we can do, but then we can do it like, if there's something you've never done before, I can tell you how to do it. So, and you can tell me how to do it. So that's another way to do the tutorials, which could be fun. Yeah, it's just what we did now.
Yeah, so this year was the year of COVID, but it's also the year of our YouTube channel and how we have developed it and how it's going to continue to evolve. And it's very, very exciting. So we can't wait until next year.
See what happens.
So there's been a lot of highlights in a rather bleak year. And yeah, we've been here alone since September now.
But I read there was a comment. There was a lady who wrote, she wanted to thank us for inviting her to our house or our home every week. I think that's a nice thing to say, because I think I've said it before, but that's actually how I feel about it. It's actually like we're inviting people.
Yeah, we're inviting people to come into our home every
house.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's nice.
It is.
And then it's nice that there's a lot of nice people, like thousands of nice people.
And I have come to the realization that I can live with that. So it's all great.
It's good.
So tell me, Arne, favorite episodes this year? Do you remember any of the new episodes that we posted that you really loved?
Well, I like the two last where we film each other. Or three. There's three of them.
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
Freya?
Oh,
Moose?
It's a telephone ringing somewhere.
Oh, okay. Maybe I thought it may be a gigantic moose or something.
Could be a moose. What's your favorite?
So many. So many favorite episodes. I have to say, I enjoyed doing the Pearl and the Knit Revisited.
Yeah, where you did it.
Sorry? Yeah. Nice. The Knit and the Pearl Revisited was when I showed people how to do it. Because many people may not know this, but when we started the YouTube channel, my point of view was always that I wanted to be like the second one in command, and I wanted Arne to do all the tutorials, and I wanted to kind of stay more in the background or interview him, help move the episode forward, but not do the tutorials. So I haven't done many tutorials, but now that I did those, and I actually really enjoyed them, and I've noticed that a lot of people have actually enjoyed them too.
I think it's nice because then I think a lot of people think that I'm doing everything when it comes to the knitting and the crocheting and stuff.
But that's not true.
Because that's not True, but it's easier for me to do it on the tutorials because I'm quicker. But sometimes that's also bad because sometimes I'm too quick sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think I like it when you do it.
Yeah, I enjoyed a lot doing those two tutorials, the knitting and the purling. I think I did the increasing as well. Those were actually fun to film, so I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed getting the positive feedback that I got. I didn't think I would get as positive feedback as you did, but I did, and that was very nice. So thank you very much. I know. Oh, that's what I always say to you. And now the table has turned. Another one that I really loved, another highlight episode for me was when we were in Lofoten and we went to visit Ragnhild and her happy sheep. Nice. And she taught us a little bit more of dyeing wool. I thought that it was a very lovely episode. Also because she is such a lovely person to hang around and so pleasant and so natural in front of the camera. Really, really great episode. One of my favorite to film this year. And I love the idea of the meeting, like meeting with someone. Yeah, meeting
We're
somebody.
Do that again next year.
Yeah, and elevating them, bringing them into our channel and kind of elevating what they do and showing our audience the wonderful people around our country who are masters at their crafts, because we're not.
We have more ideas for that.
Yeah.
So we're going to do more next year.
We're definitely going to feature more people in our channel next year. I think to start with, we'll focus on Norwegian people in different areas in Norway that may be masters in different things. And after Christmas, we're going to go into a planning stage and kind of figure it out.
We should find some old people who do traditional stuff, because...
And then I want to find some people who also take traditional stuff and take them further and are innovative and make something modern and cool. So I want to have that mix of both. Yeah. And I don't want to have knitting only. I want to look at other kinds of fields that could be interesting for our audience. So that's something we're definitely going to be doing.
Plans.
We have some plans. But you know what? I have a couple more favorite episodes that I would like to feature. The first Sit and Knit for a Bit episode. When we were sitting outdoors, a beautiful summer's night, and you just couldn't stop making references to ABBA songs.
Was that in the greenhouse?
No, we were sitting outdoor next to the greenhouse.
Oh yeah.
And you don't remember this?
Yeah, I remember. I just had these ABBA songs in my head.
And you kept everything we said. You kept making it into an ABBA song. So what ABBA song would we be doing now? Right now?
Right now? That's a hard. You should ask me these questions because it's so.
How about Happy New Year?
Okay, Happy New Year. Are we ending?
No. I'm just trying to. There's 10 more days, 11 more days out of this year, so I was thinking maybe.
You see, it's so much easier when it comes natural.
I don't even know the text because I was too young.
Yeah, Mamma Mia.
Here I go again.
SOS.
Oh yeah, SOS. That's a good one for now because you want me to take you out of this sticky situation.
Yeah. Oh, I get so warm because I can't do this on. What you call that? The forespørsel?
On demand.
I can't do it by demand. It has to come natural.
Yeah, but you did the SOS now.
I felt because that was a good one actually.
Yeah. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And Chiquitita.
Fernando. It has to come natural.
So many songs. But yeah, that was a fun episode. I really enjoyed that. And then actually the week after was also an amazingly funny episode when we were talking about the trousers. These go all the way down to the knees, and you refer to them as knickers. And in British English, knickers means women's panties. And I just had that image of me wearing my stockings, my garter bands, and the knickers, like
but
women's
in Norwegian,
panties.
this is a knickers.
Yeah, and in American English apparently as well.
Okay.
But I thought that was hilariously funny.
But talking about language, Carlos, what I've been thinking about is kind of fun because we call it sit and knit for a bit. And you remember I told you about...
Sit och bit.
In my dialect, we say sit or bit.
Okay, so...
It's like
Wait. So sit and knit for a bit. That's English, right? And in Norwegian we have an expression, sit
Og bit,
og bit.
lit.
And that means?
Sit means sit, bit means knit, lit means bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Sit og bit, lit.
Yeah. So sit and knit for a bit in Norwegian would be sit og bit lit.
Sit og bit, lit. Or you can say, so you can come into a room and then I see you. If you're knitting, I can say something like, oh, du sitter og bit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you
and
are...
And I say, ja, absolut.
Yeah, you are sitting down with your knitting, or you are sitting down knitting. So I've been actually looking in the Oxford English book direction dictionary or something I was looking for other English word for knitting. And I didn't find anything.
Oh, there's so many.
There must be other words for knitting, because it's like my knitting, I'm knitting, this is knitted, it's all...
Yeah, but you know, like some cultures, they have like 50 words for snow.
Yeah, and we have many for...
We have 50 words for knitting here in Norway.
Yeah, because like where I come from, or people would normally say bunning, that's your knitting, and to sit and knit, that's bit.
Yeah, or strik.
Bit. But then you have like in other places, in this area I think they have another
Puna,
word.
do we say that in... or is that Icelandic only? Puna.
No, I don't.
We don't say that in Norwegian,
I don't
right?
know.
No. So that's only in Icelandic.
But spöte.
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 Yeah.
There's a lot of different words for knitting and like doing knitting and the piece you're knitting on. So that's interesting.
It is, yeah. And Sit in It for a Bit, our podcast, is not necessarily a knitting podcast. It is whatever you want it to be. I think that we just came up with the name Sit in It for a Bit because actually it was a suggestion from one of our viewers, and we loved it so much because it rhymes and it's a little bit quirky like you and me. But we don't want it to be a knitting podcast because we are so much more than that. So we want Sit and Knit for a Bit to be something that is inclusive, and everybody, regardless of what they do, can join us.
You can do I-cord.
You can do whatever you want. I-cord, you can knit, you can quilt, you can crochet, you can embroider. And what I've been noticing...
it's kind of fun to say that.
Yeah, and
I think that's fun.
It's fun. And
Sit and knit for a bit, but you can do anything.
But you can do anything. And what I've been enjoying reading in the comments, Arne, is that a lot of people, they start their comment by saying, I don't knit.
Yeah.
But I still love watching you. And that's the idea we had for the channel to begin with when we made our first video in 2015. It was the knitted balls, obviously, because that is what we are most known for. But the second video was the workshop with the paper angels, remember?
Yeah.
And already then we had this idea that we don't want to have a knitting channel. We want to have a lifestyle channel that encompasses a lot of different things in addition to knitting. So we wanted to have crochet and embroidery and cooking and gardening and so on and on and on. And I think we're finally enjoying it and actually finally achieving that. Our viewers are not necessarily knitters, and that's really great. So we love it when people come to sit and knit, but we also love it when people come to do origami and whatever else they want to do. It is a nice, diverse crowd, and that's exactly what we want to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been quite a year, hasn't it?
It has been crazy. I've done a lot of jigsaw puzzles.
You did a lot of jigsaw puzzles. Unfortunately, the first jigsaw puzzle we did in 2020 was already in December, between Christmas or just after New Year, while we still were on holiday. We had bought a jigsaw puzzle in the USA, and we did that, and that was fun. And then afterwards,
quarantine.
During COVID quarantine, Arne was laying a lot of jigsaw puzzles. Unfortunately, I couldn't join because that was when it was kind of like just after I had been sick, and I had a lot of problems with my balance, and I was also very dizzy at the time. So whenever I started focusing on the jigsaw pieces, I just lost my balance. It was really bad.
I heard that this was a big thing in Norway this year.
Oh yeah,
everybody
I think everywhere
was doing the jigsaw puzzle.
Jigsaw puzzles, baking bread and knitting. I think crocheting, embroidery,
and redecorating your house.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, gardening.
Gardening, yeah. A lot of people have been doing gardening this year.
It's been bad, but it's also been nice sometimes.
Yeah, I think that when I look back at 2020, I'm going to look back at this year as a very dramatic year, because of the situation with the virus, of course. But I'm also going to look at it as a very peaceful year in a way. I mean, for us anyway, being under lockdown and not being able to do much other than just enjoying our time here hasn't been all that bad. Although the world situation right now is very, very bad, and a lot of people have died, and we can't wait for this vaccine to come, and we can't wait for this to be over. Obviously, if we had a choice all over again, we wouldn't have done all of this, I guess.
But we don't have a choice.
But we don't have a choice, so here we are.
You have to take what you get.
Yeah, very dramatic year, but for us it hasn't been all that bad, even if I was quite ill. So, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and I think that it's good to look forward now and look ahead, focus on how good everything's going to be once the vaccine arrives. We have been having a lot of questions also, Arne. People have been asking us about the knitting trips that we were organizing, the cruises, and whether we will be doing those in the future.
And we will.
Of course.
Soon as it's safe to travel again, and probably when the vaccine is out.
Yeah.
We will continue with the cruises, and of course we have a group of people who missed their cruise, so I guess they will be the first one to join us for a next cruise.
I think that the first thing that we're going to do once that situation in the world starts becoming stable, as soon as COVID starts getting under control, as soon as things start going back to normal, the first thing we're going to do is find dates for the knitting cruises, the knitting cruise that we have to cancel this September, as well as the trip to the UK to visit gardens. Those two are going to be our very first priority, to get everybody who were booked on those trips to come and do them. And then we're going to look for dates for potential new cruises, and the trip to South Africa that we really want to do, and the trip to and I'd love to do a Svalbard trip.
Oh, that could be so
which I think we'd call knitting in the top of the world, because Svalbard are these islands that are the closest you can get to the North Pole here in Europe, and they're part of Norway. So that would be fun, knitting in the top of the world. But yeah, we have a lot of plans for cruises, but we refuse to release any information or take any bookings before we know for sure that the situation is stable, which means that more than likely we're not going to be releasing any new cruises until the earliest this fall, maybe, or next fall, sorry. But maybe, or maybe not even until the beginning of 2022. So we'll see. It's
we do it when it's safe.
We do it when it's safe, yes. But yeah, we plan on going back to that, of course. And I think that travel-wise, besides those cruises and those trips, I think I have enjoyed staying home for a while. And maybe it's time to actually reduce our carbon imprint in this world.
Honestly, but we already done it.
Well, yeah, but I think that we should do it more. We should be more self-conscious about how much we travel. We should travel less, I think. I think we should.
Soon we don't have a choice, because a lot of the air what you call that?
Traffic?
Air traffic will be so expensive.
Oh yeah, that's true as well.
And some are going bankrupt, I guess.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be interesting to see what happens, because it's really hard to plan things right now.
So definitely a lot of things to think about for the time to come, a lot of things to sort out. But we are looking forward to coming back with new tutorials on Sundays, new episodes of Sit and Knit for a Bit on Wednesdays. And yeah, it's going to be a great year, 2021. Hopefully a better year than 2020. And yeah, and we look forward to continuing developing everything that we're doing. So we still have a few more episodes of Sit and Knit for a Bit Christmas countdown. I think we're going to go and change our outfits.
And we have to put new candles in.
Yeah, we have to put a new candle. We're going to change our uniform, and we're going to go to downstairs, sit by the tree, and do our final Advent episode today, the 4th of Advent. And then there's a couple of more episodes coming.
And then it's Christmas.
And then it's Christmas, and between Christmas and sometime in January we're going to be taking a nice winter holiday. But I think we'll still be back with episodes on Sundays for the time being. So you have that to look forward to. And yeah, a final thing about the Christmas balls, because we've been having a lot of fun doing Christmas balls this year. It was the 10th anniversary of the publication of our book, and it's amazing how many people who have been knitting Christmas balls together with us. Thank you so much for that. We're going to be revealing the winners of our contest on January 3rd, which is going to be on a Sunday.
That will be a hard thing.
That will be a hard thing, but you know, anything that has Christmas balls in it tends to be a hard thing, because remember when we were designing the new 24 balls, we couldn't stop. So we actually have 33 balls altogether, and out of those 33, we made a selection for the calendar, and we are going to release the final 9 balls. They're going to be released as bonus balls, and anyway, we're going to release those as bonus balls, and they're going to be released on December 26th in our web shop. So if you want to get the 9 remaining balls for 2020, you will be able to do so in 6 days' time. Yeah. So
as long as you have space on the Christmas tree.
We've got a lot of space.
I'm going to do more of this.
Yeah, that's a fun project. Fun. Yeah. And I'm going to continue weaving my, let me see, weaving my beautiful garter bands that I'm doing for myself and for Arne.
You can use this as garter band.
No, I want this. This is much more beautiful.
Thin.
Yeah, Arne, and I think that this has been a great half hours, well spent. So how about some very quick formalities? Do them very quickly, because people are getting tired of them. If you like our videos,
thumbs up and subscribe. And if you subscribe, put on the notification, because then you have a message every time there's a new episode, and you won't miss a thing.
Yeah, there you go. Those are the formalities very quickly.
That's coming later tonight also.
And that's coming again a second time tonight. So we're going to go and change. We're going to go downstairs. We're going to actually we're going to light a couple of new candles. And and in case you're wondering what happens with the Advent candle holder, once the 4 candles are lit, so we will keep lighting them like this, and then on Christmas Eve we change the candles, and then we light them all in the same level. Yeah. So yeah, that's what happens afterwards.
That's the ABBA reference.
Oh, so so Asta. Asta this afternoon, because we're doing the
Asta this afternoon, and so long.
Yeah, so long, farewell. No, that's Sound of Music. That's not.
So long, see you, honey.
Oh, there you go. So long, see you, honey.
Can't buy me with your money.
Ah.
Tracy Daisy. Something crazy. I don't remember the text.
Yeah.
We have to put on some ABBA vinyl.
Yeah, we should put
on some ABBA and play.
Okay, so we're going to be back in just a few minutes. So thank you so much for watching, and see you in a couple of minutes, and see you again tomorrow as well. Bye. Bye.
Join us every day in December when Sit and Knit for a Bit becomes our daily Christmas podcast.
We're looking forward to revealing 1 ball every single day. And if you want to join us, there is going to be a digital ARNE CARLOS Christmas calendar with our 24 new balls. All you need to do is go to arnecarlos.com, go to our shop, and you can purchase the calendar, and it will be available from November 22nd and onward. That's when it's going to open, the sales. We're really looking forward, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Are we going to make more balls?
Well, you can't have enough balls.
Well, can you? No, not really.